We are live. I skipped 2 Saturdays in a row because of Freedomfest. I apologize. I was getting ready a week ago, and then I was in Vegas Saturday and intended to do typical LP Angela live stream stuff, and then Donald Trump had an assassination attempt. So I don't think any of that stuff really mattered in that context. But here we are. People want to know what's going on. And I think there's lots going on in the news. So, yeah, Donald Trump survived an assassination attempt. That was very scary. Um, his response was incredibly based. What else would you expect from him? Props to him for surviving that. He just picked J.D. Vance as his running mate. We avoided Tim Scott and Nikki Haley. The Libertarian Party wrapped up Freedomfest. Freedomfest was awesome. Huge thank you to the Scousins for putting that together and hosting us. They are wonderful people. Chase Oliver and Mike Termott had a breakout session. That was Saturday. That was going on during the events with Donald Trump. Chase got to participate in a debate with Jill Stein and Randall Terry of the Constitution Party. Randall Terry is a fascinating guy. He has been arrested over 49 times. He is a pro-life activist, and he's written a whole bunch of books, and he's written and directed 2 movies on time travel. So I'm going to be checking that guy out. That is really interesting and very weird. Other stuff. Yeah. Chase Oliver, vote for Chase, especially if you're in a blue state. We did a panel at Freedom Fest called Defeat the Deep State with Kash Patel and Brett Weinstein and Clint Russell. We don't talk about Kash Patel enough in the LP, probably because he's a registered Republican. But I think that, like Thomas Massey, he should be getting more attention from us. He fired like 15% of the intelligence agency staff. He was a former White House official under Trump who actually worked to drain the swamp. And so we hosted him on stage to talk about some of that work and talk about what it takes to drain the swamp. And he's of the mindset that you can't abolish a lot of these agencies and you just go in and do it. And talked about the bureaucratic hurdles that they put up and that you can push back, you can fire them. You have to dig in a little bit, see what their job description are. A lot of them will be like, oh, well, and that's just like fired. You don't do anything. So that was really interesting. Brett Weinstein gave a little bit of a different idea of what the deep state is. Clint was there to provide the libertarian perspective on it. I just did sort of the hosting, the emceeing of that panel, but it was fantastic. Kash also has a movie coming out, Government Gangsters, that my friends the Taylors worked on. There's a screening in Monday, July 22nd, I think, and it's in Austin, Texas. So if you are a local, hit me up on that. I'll make sure to get you an event invite. Super excited. I'm going to go be seeing that. Brett Weinstein's been a friend to the LP for a little while now. We had him at Freedom Fest last year too. If you're not familiar with Brett, he co-authored with his lovely wife, Heather, Hunter-Gatherer Guide to Society, and he is a co-host of the Dark Horse podcast. He is an academic, comes from the left, who was ousted by the woke mob at the university he used to work at. He has since become a great friend to liberty. I am working on an event with him right now called Defend the West. There has been some questions about the name. What does that mean to defend the West? We're talking about defending the wonderful things about Western values that we feel are under threat right now. Free speech, medical freedom, privacy, consent of the governed, all that really good stuff. And we think it's worth defending. This is a peaceful event. We'll be hosting it the same weekend as Rage Against the War Machine in Washington, D.C., the last weekend of September. So I'm very excited about all of that. Lots of preparation planning happening right now. It is a scramble because we're like 3 months out, but we're going to pull it off and it's going to be badass. We received a lot of really good feedback on our panel. A lot of Freedom Fest people told us, attendees, that was the most compelling panel of the day. It was Wednesday. We got to open the event. People said it was really interesting. We had good guests. A couple of naysayers who like to complain about anything and everything I do, they complained. But that means that it was awesome. So when losers are upset, you're you're over target. Why did we talk about defeating the deep state? Well, we just had a presidential frontrunner candidate survive an assassination. You have had the FBI say that the Libertarian Party Facebook page is under surveillance. You've got a Kennedy running for office. We need an anti-deep state coalition. I think that's what we need right now. We are under serious threat by the deep state, the bureaucratic state, the administrative state, whatever you want to call it, the unelected bureaucracy, people who hate liberty, people who want control, people who love the administrative and bureaucratic aspects of Marxism, oppressive egalitarianism, people who want to control your life. They want you to eat bugs, live in a pod, not own stuff. They want you to not have a car. They want you to live in these 15-minute cities and never go anywhere else. So then they can also control and lock down what you do in your spare time, entertainment, how you spend your time. They can control your thoughts. They control where you go. It's not a good thing. Oh, I got a little fly buzzing around me. We need an anti-deep state coalition. I think it's very serious. And in order to do that, it's going to take people being serious about the Libertarian Party. There are a lot of people who treat the LP like a book club, and that's probably because we recruited from book clubs. So to a certain extent, that's on us. You will see a lot of LP meetups that are essentially run like book clubs. They have book club discussions. They don't prioritize political action. One or two new people will come in and try to do it, and the old timers or the in between timers, the people who were there before them, that's uncomfortable, right? Like they just want to get dinner and complain about the government or talk about philosophy. I like eating food. I like Ludwig von Mises. I got a lot of Mises stuff in my house. I got a lot of books. I've read it, 800 pages, 1,100 pages. I've read them. Man, Economy, and State, very long audiobook. I don't know if the audiobook was much easier, but I want to do serious work. And I think I've been doing a lot of serious work, and I need support on that. And I want us to continue it. People wonder how I've been able to get so much accomplished in the last 2 years, right? We've had internal party sabotage. We've had a lot of, what's a nice way to put it? Neuroatypical disagreements on what the purpose of the party is and what we should be doing. We've got centrists who are upset about various XYZ things, people with oppositional defiance disorder, people who like to stack their blocks, all different types of people who are, opposed, whether outright or just because they can't quite get with it, people who are opposed to doing meaningful work. In spite of fundraising sabotage, literal technological asset sabotage, data theft, that kind of stuff, mass campaigns by former members and haters to go to the SPLC and, smear us there. In spite of all of that crap, I managed to get Donald Trump to our convention, to promise to put a libertarian in the cabinet, to free Ross Ulbricht, to abolish the Department of Education, and a whole other long laundry list of smaller but incredibly significant things. We got Kash Patel there. We had Rick Grinnell there. I've made contact with Carrie Lake, and I know a lot of people don't like Carrie Lake. We are influential. It's a really profound thing for us to actually be influential and for people to be picking up the phone, wanting to call us. We had Thomas Massey there. He said he was excited to attend. We weren't dragging him there as a favor from someone in Kentucky. He was excited to attend. That's a good thing. We've been highly influential. We're influential in policy now, too. Fundraising. We're about to enter into, if our people can get their shit together, a fundraising coalition with the Kennedy team. It doesn't mean Kennedy's going to be our candidate. It doesn't mean he's going to get an endorsement. It is a gentleman's agreement to enter into a fundraising committee, an FEC-approved committee, so that we can both make more money. It will fund the party. It will fund our presidential candidate. And if he doesn't want to take the funding directly, we will do things to support him internally. And no, I don't want to hear, bitter arguments and saying, well, if his campaign doesn't support us entering into this agreement, we're not going to fund him. That is petty and small-minded. I am going to do what I need to do to advance liberty and to grow this party and make it meaningful. And I need you as members, supporters, whatever, to trust my judgment, because I'm doing this full time. I'm doing a kick-ass job, and I'm the leader, and you elected me, and I am leading you, and I'm leading you somewhere good. Being able to do all of this in spite of just the train wreck of the last 2 years, right? It has demonstrated my ability to leverage something out of the two strongest political campaigns during a black swan event year, while we have a candidate for president that is very polarizing and does not have support of the largest voting bloc in the party. We're going to enter into a fundraising coalition that is going to support the national party. It's going to be awesome. We're going to continue with a strategy to chase Biden out of office. And we're going to maintain our good relationship with the Trump campaign, which is what we should do. What do I want to use this money for? People keep thinking, that's a violation of the bylaws. You're wrong. It's not. And we can get into that if you want. My goal is to not embarrass people, to call them out, to throw them under the bus. Not everyone in the party agrees with me, because there's a lot of toxic, narcissistic individuals who love to talk about themselves, grandstand on social media, attack, throw other people under the bus. That's not the point of the Libertarian Party. But let's just talk about what do we actually want to do? I wanted to present some slides, but of course it's not going to let me. Let's see if I can do it anyway. Stupid jerk internet. Maybe I can do it. Here we go. Come on, Google Slides. All right, beautiful. We're ready. Nice lull. Share screen. Candidate template videos. Who wants a candidate template video? Are you a candidate and you want campaign videos? Let's raise money and do that. Replenish our cash reserve. Let's do that too. What else? Ballot access, that thing that we can't really afford right now. It's a big controversy. We didn't give Alabama as much money as they wanted, which I apologize for. Let's do that. Some of you have been hounding me to just dump tons and tons of money that we don't have into ballot access. I have this brilliant idea. Why don't we take money that people want to give us and spend it on ballot access for our candidate and your state affiliate? People are like, well, is there a trick? Does that mean that we have to campaign for Kennedy? Do we have to send out mailers for him and put him on our website? No, it really is that simple. I promise you, it is that simple. We can just collect a percentage of money from his donors by entering into a fundraising agreement from him. Anti-war billboard campaign. How about that? I want to restart that. I recorded some really badass video ads for Operation Warhawk removal. Haven't been able to use them yet. How about getting those up? Chase Termont campaign support. Angela, why don't you support the campaign more? Well, we did make sure that they had their literature at our table once it arrived at Freedomfest. We made sure to get them into that breakout session. I'm in contact with their campaign manager pretty much every day. We want to give more support, though. So let us make the money to support them. How about online marketing? We're working with an awesome online marketing firm. I would like to start that back up again. We need the money to be able to afford them. And oh my gosh, right now we should be making money. We'd be making a ton. It's the perfect time to be doing political advertising. Candidate support. I am a little bit of an outlier here on the LNC. I like to donate straight to candidates. If you're an FEC compliant candidate, I want to give you money. Are you running a solid campaign? You have a website, you have volunteers, you're looking at polling, you're trying to win, you're in a winnable race. I don't mean that you're just one libertarian in a two-way race. It's winnable and you have the data to back it up. I want to give you money. I want to fund you. Dan Smott's videos. How about Dan Smott's videos? I want to do it. Look at this. I don't know how to put together a billboard to support this. We need to hire someone who can do it. Don't you want to put this message out? Don't you want to put this message out? Free Ross Ulbricht, the story of a mother's love. Do you want to talk about that? Because I do. I think it's incredibly compelling. I think that it's something that we should lead with. I think we should be talking about how Ross Ulbricht is a political prisoner, persecuted by the deep state, how he had a plan to basically sidestep support for the Federal Reserve and the US dollar, how Bitcoin leads to financial freedom, and how the government saw that. And they were like, we got to throw the book at this man and shut him up because no one can ever know about this amazing idea that he uncovered. I want to put that forefront. I want to put it front and center. And I want to talk about the incredible activism and courage that his mother has showed under all of this pressure. And I want to tie that to the Libertarian Party because I think it's an incredible story and we should be tied to it and we should be advocating for his freedom. And I have advocated for his freedom. And it looks like we're actually going to get it, but we need to keep on for the next few months. That's what I want to do with the money that I'm trying to get in with this fundraising agreement. So I hope that I can get some support on that now that I've explained it. It's not a violation of the bylaws. Let's talk about that a little bit, since people seem to be confused on it. People are saying, well, since you're not supporting your candidate, you're supporting some other candidate. It's a violation of the bylaws. That's incorrect. We sign on to ballot access lawsuits with other candidates all the time. We've done joint fundraising efforts. We've done joint signature gathering efforts. We're about to sign on with Kennedy in a lawsuit in New York regarding ballot access. Someone on our board did paid signature gathering for Kennedy in New Mexico after we paid to fly him out there. I don't care. If you're already out there, if you're going to do the work, it's not just like a gotcha, like, screw you, I'll get you back. I want to illustrate that this is like an insanely autistic, narrow tunnel vision interpretation of our bylaws, and it's heavy on the interpretation. It does not say in there that you can't work with another candidate to fundraise or campaign. Chase participated in the free and equal debate. He helped Jill Stein get a lot of attention and Randall Terry because Chase has a higher profile, certainly, than Randall Terry. I don't think that he's violating the bylaws by drawing attention to someone else, because it's about him. And so is some of this. I worry that in the Libertarian Party this year, we're off to a really bad start. And I think that the tone was set in the convention. It was such an amazing event. Like, politically at the federal level, we're doing an awesome job, but internally we are deeply sick. People are screaming right now, principle, don't violate your bylaws, which is wrong. We're not violating bylaws. You have to be principled. You can't do anything with Kennedy. You can't touch him with a 10-foot pole. We have this political attitude that we're holding a stick and another campaign is a dead bird. And we're like, don't touch it with a stick. It's very weird and juvenile. But everybody knows, at least, everybody that matters knows that there were delegates that were seated improperly. It was a violation of the bylaws at that time. They called it out later in the convention. No one seems to care. It's all over and done with. It doesn't matter that we got off to a really bad start. People worry, if you collect money with Kennedy, you're setting a precedent for X, Y, and Z. The bad precedent has already been set. The bad precedent in this party was set at the convention when the delegates decided to just appeal the ruling of the chair so that they could get around 7/8 or 2/3 threshold requirements. It doesn't matter what the bylaws say. You just appeal the ruling of the chair, and then it just takes a simple majority. That's the bad precedent that was set. Don't get it twisted. That's the problem this year. And it's going to be a problem for years to come at every convention. So if you're hyper-focused on me fundraising with another candidate so that I can actually fund all the badass shit we want to do after we've had a massive hate campaign to destroy the party that's probably partially done by federal operatives, you're not paying attention to the right thing. Precedent is already set. Let's work on correcting it by being professional and keeping our eyes on the prize. There's a lot of hypocrisy right now and a lot of really juvenile freakouts. We're fighting on the board less than 2 months out from the convention. We have nearly 2 years left to work together. We need to pull it together. I don't want to hear about removal motions. Pretty sure our secretary is going to try to remove me. I don't care. Let's just move past it. Let's work together. We don't need JC appeals. We don't need running victory laps on all of this stuff either. We just need to do the job and move forward and be professional. The entire country is going to be watching us. And if you want to be the James Weeks of the party, I guess that's your prerogative. But I'd like to think that the Mises Caucus and the people that we allied with don't want that, and that we want to be professional and make an impact for liberty. Lots of people crying victim right now, too. That's really unprofessional and beneath you as an adult. There's an unhealthy dynamic in the party, I think, between democratic mob rule and victimhood or martyrhood, and we need to break out of it. You see it on the left, too. This is like a progressive attitude that is pervaded. It is pervasive also, I think, in our internal party politics. What else? We are not pacifists. There are pacifists in the Libertarian Party, and I think all of this is somewhat related, right? But we cannot adopt that philosophical position in politics. It's very naive. It's very juvenile. It's not in our platform. It's not anything that most of us agree on either. We all agree on self-defense, most of us. We adopt the position of self-defense and asymmetrical warfare when it comes to politics as well. I view voting as self-defense. I'm not interested in lording my authority over anyone else. I'm trying to stop them from aggressing upon me. This is just basic non-aggression principle. We have a non-aggression principle, not a pacifist principle. Don't get it twisted. How do you address bylaws violations by mob rule crazies and federal operatives? If someone violates the bylaws, I think you are within rights to identify a weakness or loophole that is already in place in order to get yourself back on even ground and regain your advantage. That's why I proposed like a bylaws amendment to try to fix things at convention. It remains to be seen, whether or not that was a valid sticking point, something that actually sticks. But to just let people trample all over you and then do nothing and cry victim and just like adopt that mentality for the rest of politics. Oh, geez, Kennedy's going to use us to fundraise off of. I'm a victim. Oh, no, we can't. Don't touch us. Oh. It's just like, what are you doing? Come on, people. It's not a gentleman's sport or a board game. It's more like a bloodless version of blood sports, not bloodless for Donald Trump. Your enemies will not give you quarter. Do not expect them to. Don't give them advantages and don't take away your own advantages. Jeremy Kauffman had a really good commentary about it today. Basically, we don't believe in campaign finance. As libertarians, we are subject to it because we're a political party, but philosophically, we don't believe in it. Nuts. People are nuts. Now, not everyone is your enemy, right? We have allies and we have situational allies. Is Jill Stein our enemy? I don't think so. I adore Jill Stein. I don't agree with her on climate stuff and socialism, but I don't think of her as an enemy. She's not out to destroy us right now. She's not trying to tear us down while she's campaigning. She's trying to build herself up. She's doing something that she believes in, and we have a lot of goals in common. We both hate the deep state. We both know that the federal government is very corrupt. We both oppose foreign wars for empire. That's good stuff. Donald Trump, not trying to tear us down right now either. He's campaigning. I don't agree with him on everything, but he's got some really based opinions, and it's because of our influences, because he knows that he needs our votes. Situational allies. The deep state is trying to tear us down. The Biden regime and all those people around it, the DOJ, they're the ones who put us on lists, put the Gadsden flag, on the caution warning lists. You remember all that stuff. Telling people to watch out for us. We're violent extremists, severe winter of illness and death, trying to pass federal vaccine mandates. Those are our enemies. Very difficult to align yourself with enemies. We need a coalition with our allies. If your thinking is very, very black and white and extreme, you will not be able to identify situational allies. I imagine that you also don't have a lot of friends in your personal life. Those two things tend to go hand in hand because human beings are imperfect people. Your friends are going to occasionally let you down. They're going to frustrate you. You're going to have misunderstandings. But if you're an adult and you value your friends and your relationships, you will be able to work through that conflict. I very much want to work through conflict on the LNC. I would like people to follow my example. I would like us to all work towards the same goals. A lot of party members don't get this and they don't agree. I think perhaps they don't understand the existential threats that our government is facing because they are very inwardly focused and very focused on social media. And I invite you to step away from that and go out and touch grass, touch some political grass, see what's at stake in the country, think about the future for your children. There's a lot going on. You don't need to dogpile the secretary on my behalf. I think this is a symptom of a larger problem within the Libertarian Party, and we need a massive course correction with lots of numbers. We have a lot of activists that are not aimed at goals, not even a radical goal. And I don't think anything will ever satisfy them. And I think it's a shifting goalpost with them because what they're really aimed at is complaining. And complaining doesn't ever get you to a destination. It doesn't ever secure you a victory, no matter how small. You will constantly shift your goalpost and your attention so that you can continue to complain. And that has no place in a political party or any serious movement. It's incredibly destructive too, and it's very difficult to ally yourself with someone who won't ever agree on a common goal with you. Here's a common goal that I'd like to give. I'd like to share this with everyone. FOIA challenge. Lots and lots of talks about federal operatives in the Libertarian Party. We know now firsthand that the FBI has its hands all over our Facebook account and is trying to, claim that there's a foreign hostile government involved. They issued a warning, a search for someone who was at our convention. I don't know whether or not it's real or BS. It's so hard to know if you can believe anything these guys say. I want to challenge all of you to go out and file FOIA requests on the Libertarian Party. Do not do it in boilerplate, same language. We need like 1,000 different requests. Make them simple, make them complex, do them. Send them out, put them at a cap of like $1,000, put them at a cap of something that you can afford. I will do a GoFundMe. We will fundraise to get the FOIA requests paid for because they cost sometimes like a few hundred to a few $1,000s. Do it. Make it limited in scope, make it broad, make it whatever you want, get some advice, do some Googling on it. But we need a ton of FOIA requests right now. You need to bombard them. They need to know that we're serious and they need to start answering them. If you want to know what people really care about, what they believe in, don't just look at their words. Look at their actions and look at their results. Pay attention to what they advance, not just what they talk about. I have done the unachievable in this shit show of a party, and there are people who are still unhappy. If you care about messaging, I did the job. I got you better messaging. If you care about policy, I'm doing the job because we've got policy promises from a man who's going to be the next president. If you care about finances, I have almost done the job. In spite of all of the hurdles and obstacles set before me, I have now got us in a fundraising agreement where we'll make real money. And if you want me to blow your mind on that, I have more things coming. But you got to be willing to take it, right? You got to secure the bag. If you care about candidate support, I've done that job, and I want to do more. If you care about Twitter gossip and fights between LNC members, I have not done the job, and I will consistently fail you on that level because I don't care about it. I care about things that are like very real, and they're going to improve your life, not things like that. If you prioritize Libertarian Party isolationism and having no influence beyond social media antagonism, I have not done the job, and I will let you down there too. Because we have been profoundly influential this year. Profoundly influential. And it's an incredible thing. And that's what I'm here to do for you. I'm here to service you like that. That's what I want to do as your chair. A result of being profoundly influential, though, is that it removes attention from internal party politics, and it makes people who have boxed themselves into internal party politics deeply uncomfortable. Cognitive dissonance, insecurity, lack of relevance. People enjoy being a big fish in a small pond. They enjoy the soapbox that LP politics affords, but that is not how we're going to advance liberty. It is a self-aggrandizing hamster wheel, and it is incredibly destructive and useless. I encourage you to abandon it, embrace the brothers and sisters in this Libertarian Party who care about meaningful change, move forward. Don't hold people to prostrate in public for public apologies and any of that crap. Let bygones be bygones, and let's advance liberty together. Nick Sarwark had this terrible analogy about lobsters when he was shilling for Bill Weld. He said lobsters have to go through growing pains. when they molt their shells. You know, he was referring to people being uncomfortable with Bill Weld as our literal candidate. Nick was wrong. Bill Weld did not advance liberty. We didn't get stronger after growing pains because of Bill Weld. People were mad and fought about it for good reason. And you know what? We're not like lobsters. I don't want to be like lobsters. I don't want to be a spineless crustacean crawling around on the floor with a bunch of libertarians going, well, actually, it's an exoskeleton. I don't want any of that. I don't want to do it. We're like lions. We're at the top of the political food chain. And this year we dominate federal elections and we're the king of the jungle. So leave the autistic cat herding in the past. I don't care if it offends you. You'll be okay. We're all adults. Leave the lobster analogies in the past. Be like Javier Milei. Shoot to the top, set an example, and dominate. Take their money, secure the bag, but more importantly, take the cabinet positions that they offer us. Be gracious to them. Don't talk about how they should be assassinated or they deserve the death penalty or some other cringe, stupid takes like that. Gross. Why are you trying to make my life hard and trying to kick libertarians out of the White House before we can get in? Stop it. Let's get Ross Ulbricht out of prison. Let's abolish the Department of Education. Don't spend all your time on stupid internal LP drama. It's pathetic. We've outgrown it. Leave the juvenile behavior behind. I know it's uncomfortable. I invite you to sit with that discomfort. Mull it over. Let your cognitive dissonance and discomfort motivate you to grow and be better. I think that we can do it. We are locked into the best political philosophy this country or world has ever seen. We can do it. And if you can't, then please admit that for you, this is a social club and you are not invested in meaningful political change in this country. You're not trying to change the course of history for our children. You don't want people to be able to afford homes and mortgages in the future. You don't care if inflation is through the roof to the point that we turn to Venezuela. People can't afford food and they start eating their pets. Go join the Mises Reading Circle. Go join the Atlas Society. Wonderful social organizations for you to go out there and socialize in. Or you can start a podcast if you just want to talk about social media drama. Those are all incredibly available options for you. There's a story, right? A young girl was walking along a beach where thousands of starfish had been washed up during a storm. She came to each starfish. There were thousands of them. As she came up one by one, she'd pick it up, throw it back in the ocean. And people were watching her, kind of laughing at her, right? And she'd been doing this for a while when a guy approached her and he said, hey, little girl, what are you doing? That's cute, but look at the beach. You can't save all the starfish. You can't, you can stop. It's not going to make a difference. And she seemed kind of crushed, but then after a few minutes, she looked down, she picked up another starfish and she threw it as far as she could into the ocean. And she looked up at the man and said, I made a difference for that one. I want to make a difference for Ross Ulbricht. There's a lot of political prisoners. I've spoken with some of them that Donald Trump freed in the last couple of weeks. Let's say we abolish the Department of Education. We only get to stop United States involvement in one foreign war. Maybe we get to stop Yemen. Would you refuse that option because it's not radical enough because we didn't stop all of them? There are thousands of children whose lives would be spared by us intervening and engaging with the Trump campaign. Thousands of mothers who would not have to part ways with their babies, millions of people whose lives would be transformed. I think that is incredibly radical, and it is here. And I'm here to do it. I think that's our purpose here. So let's do it. Let's get in this administration. Let's fundraise with Kennedy. Let's work with Donald Trump. Let's support our candidate. Let's support all of our down ticket candidates. And let's be a serious political organization. Leave your internal fighting behind and let's change the world together. Let's look at the comments. Forest Mommy of the Colorado Caliphate. More fire. Love it. I appreciate you guys. Yes, Smots videos. Yes, Smots videos. I want some Dan Smots videos. Oh, someone is reading David the Gnome and he's in a book club. I like David the Gnome. He's an adventurous little guy. Thank you, Taco Johns. Very much appreciate. Can we please do 4-year election cycles for chairs? You should in the future. I don't know if I got another 2 years in me. I want to have another baby and homeschool the baby that I have right now. But under this plan, what will become of the purity spirals? Good question. It's really about, like, if you're issue coalitioning and you're working with someone else, is what you're working on radical, or is it some milquetoast centrist BS that's not going to advance liberty? Nothing I've proposed to Donald Trump is centristy or like not radical. Keep it radically principled, and that's how you avoid the people who scream about purity spirals. Thank you, Justin. Yep, I love to do the shit eating. FLMC is contracting with Smots for videos. I love to hear it. So yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. I'm going to wrap it. Support me at Patreon. This is an unpaid position. I get paid a little bit through Patreon and locals. Thank you guys who do support me and help to make this possible. No Biden bucks for me. Dang. Yeah. But most importantly, like, support the party, support the work I'm doing there. It's really profoundly meaningful work, and I think it's going to change a lot of people's lives. And I'm here for it. And I think you're all here for it too. Have a great night.